So Maryna bridges design and technology to push the boundaries across disciplines. She uses technology as a design tool, and she experiments with electronics, sensors, creative coding, emerging technologies, and creates hybrid physical-digital experience that often cause delight. Welcome, Maryna.
In design doing, we heavily rely on tools, instruments, and software that help us bring our design thinking to life in the shape of minimum viable products that can be easily tested with users. In the past decade, we learned very well and mastered our craft and how to build beautiful digital products that make our lives easier and more connected. But at the same time, as humans, we realized that our life is now centered around the 5-inch screen. And we started thinking about what about the rest of this beautiful world around us? Well, luckily, technologies were catching up. And most of the emerging technologies that we have so far, like augmented and virtual reality, wearables, Internet of Things, computer vision, have one thing in common. They enable us to bring the physical and digital worlds together. But this faces a challenge to design, because quite often there are no tools yet for us to prototype these experiments and interactions. And this is where my role as a creative technologist comes in, to get code and hardware, to get in the core of these technologies and figure out the possible interactions and inform design about that. But when it comes to businesses, technological disruption is often associated with risks. And fear, one of the strongest human emotions, is what we deal with. Effective storytelling is the way to navigate from fear to another strongest human emotion, which is love. Museums and retailers have already been successfully using the physical space to generate love. And a museum of ice cream in San Francisco, for example, admit that they are now in the business of happiness. And I notice as part of my work, quite often a common thing across all design briefs is like, how might we communicate this or that without the slides? And the answer to this has been given back in the history: involve me, and I will understand. So while designing and building the immersive experiences in the physical space, I found these 5 key components that empower creating the immersive experience in the physical space and convert it into storytelling canvas. And number 1 component is installations. They're the chapters of your book, the milestones of your journey. They have a power to convert the deserts into a pop-up gallery in the city in Burning Man. And we build installations to help technology explain itself, like pattern recognition with rock, paper, scissors game, or computer vision with origami flowers reacting to your emotions. Number 2 is navigation. In the physical space, it's 3-dimensional. It depends very much on whether it's individual experience or a group experience. What is the size of your space? Is it curated or is it self-discovery? I personally find inspiration from architecture, hospitality industry, or talking to engineers building products in virtual reality because they already figured it out. The other key component is immersion. You want your users to feel as if they're in a different space, if they are here and now in your story. And here we work with sensors. The human senses that you don't have in a digital space, like smell, taste, hearing, vision, enabled by projection methods, darkness, light, and even the touch, haptic feedback, different materials. It's all about designing the multi-sensory experience. After that comes interactions. Apart from touch, in the physical space, technology enables us to interact with things and the space using your full body, or gestures, or voice, or your faces, or any sort of data. And touch gets even more expanded, because with Internet of Things, we can now make any object be responsive to touch and trigger the interaction. And of course, if you take somebody on a journey with you, you want to reward them for that. And you want to make sure they come back home with a souvenir or a little object of delight that will store this memory of the experience they had. So number 5 is takeaway. These 5 components have the power to convert any space into storytelling canvas and a multi-sensory playground that enables tangible, engaging experience that us humans looking for. And if you think that it might not be relevant to any business or product or service, think again. Because according to Wise Media, 8 out of 10 young people today would rather spend their hard-earned money in an experience rather than making a purchase of a product or service. Thank you.